Well, when I first came to America when I was 12, we went to Disneyland. So what the one I loved most, I guess Space Mountain. Everyone loves Space Mountain, right? But I haven't. Bear in mind, I haven't been for 20 years.
It's time to go back because they renewed it. So
Okay, it's
gotta
time to
go
go
back on there.
Disneyland.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Well, I've always loved them. Grew up with Disney films. Grew up watching The Jungle Book and Dumbo and Mary Poppins and Robin Hood and then when my sister was younger, it was like Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King and everything. And actually now in my family there are lots of very, very young children. And I think that it's a wonderful thing. They're wonderful films when everyone's all watching it together and parents and kids, and it's I think Disney are the best at that. Quite simply, they make brilliant films for families.
Great messages for people to.
Yeah. Great messages, but just great stories more than anything. Like amazing characters that are fun and dynamic and lots of laughs and jokes and songs, and they know what they're doing. And also when they asked me to play this particular character in this particular film, I was thrilled. It's just a very great threat on the state of peace in Asgard and the universe, which comes in the form of Malekith and the Dark Elves, played by Christopher Eccleston, and the only person who can help, for better or for worse, is Loki. It's kind of like the A-Team. What's that thing he says? If you have a problem, and if no one else can help, and if you can find him, maybe you can hire Loki. Something like that. Very possibly. Or maybe not. I mean, but the point is that I do think there is still light in Loki's darkness. There is a capacity for redemption. Wow. Well, there'd be like a. They're both quite exhibitionist, probably, I would say. I mean, Loki's a demigod. Well, he's a god. He's a full-scale Asgardian being.
But Captain Hook's got some,
He's got some mad skills. He's got, and he can fly also, and the ship can fly, and he's dangerous with that hook.
Like, Tom, you've got to think about this and get back to me.
I really do.
It's
like a big conundrum.
Yeah, and it's a really good question too. So just think
it's the best one. Potentially, yeah, I would say so. Well, I'm free from being. I don't have to be the hero or the villain. Chris Hemsworth is the hero. Chris Eccleston is the villain, and I'm just the firework.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Nice
we
to
want
see you
to see
too.
you in Ultron. Please, think it.
Call Joss.
Okay.
On the line.
Okay, I will call you.
Thanks.
It
was a really fun. That was one of the most fun things I've probably ever done as an actor. It was just because it was so. It was both light and serious, and there were 7,000 people in that room. And as an actor, it's not often you get to perform in front of 7,000 people, all of whom know exactly what you're doing. So it was great. They are the faithful. They are the fans who've been really kind in supporting these films. So yeah, it was fun.
Can't say. I asked them one question you can't answer.
It's good though. There is a motivation certainly, and it's a really complicated one, and it is. It'll be borne out by the things that you see in the story, and I think it's wonderful because it's different. It's not the same as Thor. It's not the same as Avengers. In some regard, because of who he is, he's still acting out of self-interest. Loki's always looking for the crack in the rock, which he can slip through and escape, and eventually turn a situation to his advantage. Almost in more ways than one, actually. I just realised I picked a rather interesting turn of phrase there. Anyway, he's after something, and you'll find out when you see it. I saw the scene for the first time. I wrote an email to Alan Taylor and said, what books? And I think it's actually, what did I suggest? I think there was some, I thought it would be nice if Frigga had placed some edifying reading in there. And maybe she was trying to encourage Loki to spend his time learning new things. And in our thinking, Rene Russo and I always, from the very first film, part of the backstory we created was that Frigga was really the most attentive to Loki when he was a child, and Odin didn't really know how to connect. He connected much more with Thor. They were sort of, cut from the same cloth. And Frigga and Loki had this kind of beautiful, sensitive, more artistic relationship, and it was actually her who taught him all his magic. And we thought that maybe he could be reading some sort of just deeper into the science of some new, basically some new magic. I mean, because in some iterations of the mythology, Loki is not just the god of mischief; he's also the god of magic. And he has, as the trickster, he has lots of different tricks up his sleeve, which maybe you'll get to see in the film itself. What can I tell you?
How is this film different?
Well, it's different in many respects. It's different in that I think in the first film, you were really introducing audiences to the 9 realms. The mythology is that the universe is made up of the world's tree, which consists of 9 realms: Asgard, Jotunheim, where the frost giants live, Hell, the underworld, Svartalfheim, which literally means the home of the dark elves, which you'll see in this film. Midgard, which is Earth, and Nornheim and Vanaheim, and all these other realms, basically. And I think this film really extends deep into the universe in a way that the first film was only Asgard. And so it's massive. It's got a really epic dimension, which I think people will find really thrilling. Loki's the god of mischief, so I didn't think good behaviour is part of his remit. But it's a lovely new twist. It's a new iteration to have. Basically, what happens is the Dark Elves, led by Malekith, played by Chris Eccleston, come to Asgard, and they present an extraordinary threat to the state of the universe, basically. Because they're a race of people who existed long before the universe came into being. So before the Big Bang, the Dark Elves ruled the roost, and they want to return the Earth to that state, to the universe, sorry. And there's only one person who might know how to stop them, and that's public enemy number 1, Loki. So Thor has to come down to prison, to the dungeons of Asgard, where Loki's incarcerated, and ask for his help, which is complicated. There's a phrase, I don't know who invented it, like the devil plays all the best tune, but I think it's because, firstly, that you can kind of cut loose a bit, and all the rules that you have to abide by, or you feel duty-bound to abide by in your own life, the villains don't care about rules, so you get to sort of be a kid again in a way. But secondly, it's genuinely because I think villains are the most complex, and their psychologies are always fascinating. What are their motivations? And as an actor, I've always called acting a kind of 3D anthropology. We're sort of digging around in what makes human beings tick. So I think they're just fascinating psychologically, but they're also really fun. Yeah. She's good. Yeah. She's got a good right hook. Yeah, on the chin. I think we all felt much more confident about exploring the mythology and exploring the kind of epic dimension of Asgard. These are characters who've been in the public consciousness for over 2,000 years, and sort of accepting that they are godlike, that they are deities in some regard, with enormous powers, and we just all decided to embrace that and go deeper and bigger into that dimension, which I think is really exciting.